Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Misty and today we are going to talk about how you avoid those really crazy homeschool days. Oh my gosh, it can get crazy, and I've found, though there are many factors, there's one specific factor that really makes the difference in your homeschooling day and your flow and structure, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. First, I do want to say, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more content like this in the future, all things homeschooling, learning, and fun. And the like button lets me know that this is the type of content you enjoy, so I know what to make for you in the future. Let's get started with the video. Okay, so homeschooling. Homeschooling is a roller coaster, and you have really great days and you have really bad days, right? And there are many factors that go into that, but I have found that one specific thing can really affect how your day goes. And this one thing can ruin an entire day. It can make everything stressful. It can throw everything off. And that one big thing is preparation. So let's talk about preparation. What happens if you don't prepare for your day? What happens if you don't put in the work to have everything ready and, what is that saying? Have your T's crossed and your I's dotted? I think that's the saying. If you don't prepare, you go into your day blindly, okay? Maybe this works for some people, for personalities that are more like, go with the flow, I'm chill, everything's cool, like I don't need a structure. There are people like that, and if that works for your family, great. Does not work for mine. I am very much a listing person, a scheduling person, a plan ahead person, and my daughter expects, at least my oldest, she expects routine, okay? My littlest one couldn't care less. If we don't prepare ahead of time, then papers are not ready, and then you're scrambling around trying to find the papers, and oh, I forgot to print it, now I gotta go print it. This was me today. I forgot to print stuff, so I was all over the place printing and trying to keep the kids busy. Your supplies aren't ready for projects, so then you're spending an extra 10 minutes gathering everything, and then oops, oh my gosh, I forgot because I didn't prepare. I forgot to buy more glue because we ran out of it. Now I have to figure out how to do anything without any glue. Your schedule starts to get thrown off for the day. Your stress level starts to elevate. It's hard for you to kind of become not so frazzled, and then you're easily snippy and attitudes start coming out, and then your kids have attitudes because mom's in a bad mood, so they're in a bad mood, everybody's in a bad mood. There are times where this gets so bad, I give up on my day. I throw the entire day out the window and I say, let's turn on the TV, let's eat some popcorn, and let's chill out, and school's canceled for the day. I've done all of these things, so I know why preparation is just so important. So what happens when we plan, guys? Everything the opposite of what I just said. Granted, there are factors you can't control. 2-year-olds having tantrums, things like that. You can't control that. When you prepare for your day, structure is set in place way more, like so much more. So your day becomes very structured and your kids know what's going on, and there's no emotional mix-up about their day being kind of all over the place, so that your kid knows what's coming next. When you uphold your structure, they know, like, okay, mommy does this in the morning, we eat breakfast, then we do this, and then it's this, then snack time, then this, like they know. And when you prepare your day, you can keep that structure going more to keep your day going smooth, to kind of keep emotions at bay, and to keep your own stress levels down as well. But like I said, I cannot stress enough that you cannot control the factors that come into play. Sick days, tantrums, say that they didn't get a good night's sleep, so now they're grumpy. Like, there are things that still affect your day, but if you're able to prepare, a lot of that stuff can still go more smooth than it would have if you didn't have all your ducks in a row. That's why planning is just so important. Preparation is really important. And now that we've kind of talked about why it's important, I want to go over what I do everywhere from kind of daily to yearly basis to make sure these are the general things, not like detailed, but these are general things that I would do to keep preparation in check so that we can have everything as smooth as possible. So let's talk about daily situations that I do, and we'll start with like the night before. So the night before, if you are doing curriculum, I very much believe that you should yourself be reading what that lesson is the night before. That way your brain can already start going, you know what's coming, and there's no reason for you to stop and have to do something else during it, which I'll talk about in a second, my experience with that. So if you read ahead, then you know what's coming, and you can start getting your gears going about how you're going to teach that tomorrow to your kid. So what I mean by this is Vivi has, it's right here, hold on. This is Viviana's reading curriculum, okay? And It's a really great curriculum. It's very step by step, but if I'm not careful and I don't pay attention the night before, I'm seeing if I can find anything, you'll have all of these little footnote kind of things and things that I'm not necessarily doing with her, but it's trying to teach me so I understand what we're doing in the lesson. So I could be sitting there like, oh, hold on, Vivi, we'll finish your reading work in a second. First, I have to read 3 paragraphs of why we're doing this, and then I have to sit there and read. Oh, hold on, Vivi. First, I have to read these 2 paragraphs before we actually do the lesson because mommy should have been reading this last night. So that's why I'm saying to do that, because it really avoids those hiccups where you're like, okay, I already read those footnotes and those paragraphs that are specifically for the parents to know how to help your child comprehend. And so now I'm not stopping during the lesson the next day and throwing things off, and then Vivi's just kind of sitting there twiddling her thumbs waiting for me to be done. I know all of this because I've done it. So that's why it's important to read your curriculum the night before and to get everything ready with it. So like what I mean by that is on these pages, it'll tell me that tomorrow she's going to need the book that goes along with learning. So I know that I need her short stories book, which is right here. And I know that I need to pull out the workbook pages, the student workbook pages, number 55 through 58. That saves me time tomorrow, because if I didn't do that ahead of time, then I would be like asking her to wait or go do something else while I get those things ready. And that once again is wasting time that you could have been used teaching to get homeschooling out of the way, because once homeschool is done, you are off the hook and you can do whatever you want with those kids for the rest of the day. It's kind of funny, but it's true. I love homeschooling, but there's nothing like the end of the day when you've gotten everything done and now you can just chill and do what you need to do outside of homeschool. So yes, every night I am reading the curriculum to make sure I know what I'm getting myself into so that I'm prepared for the morning. I'm also preparing all the papers and any other accessories that are used in the curriculum. I make sure that all the supplies are accounted for and set out and ready to go. And this will also let me know if like, oops, I forgot to get something. And then I have all night to figure out an alternative option for that activity that we were doing, instead of in the moment being like, crap, I don't have anything to give these kids. Because once again, that has happened to me. So yeah, any of those issues that you would run into on the spot if you weren't preparing ahead of time, you can run into those issues the night before and spend the night thinking about how you're going to take care of that. And by morning, you usually have a plan B in place. So the morning of, I will take that curriculum that I studied the night before, I will set it out in its place, and it's ready to go. I do this for myself so it's easier, so I'm not fumbling around looking for it. Also, Viviana knows, she can look at the pile and be like, okay, today we're doing the reading work, today we're doing the math work. So she'll know what we're doing by visually getting that idea of what's piled and set out on the table. And then like for things that are really early, like we have a simple breakfast and I have the morning devotional for the family ready to go. So those things are already set out and we're going to do it. I don't read that ahead of time necessarily because it's biblical things, but based on like a kid's level of learning. So I don't need to like plan ahead for meat and potatoes necessarily, to be honest. Figuratively speaking, I'm not feeding my children meat and potatoes for breakfast. But just, like in reading, I don't have to worry about getting too deep because they're children and they're just learning how these biblical principles apply to their life. Anyways, rabbit trail, let's get back on track. And I will also explain to Viv daily kind of what we're looking at for the day so that she has the idea. So she has the visual over on the table that this is what we're doing, and then she's hearing me say, hey, today we're gonna do this, this, and this, and when we're done, we're gonna hang out and do this. So let's look at what it looks like to plan for the week generally. I try to plan at least a week in advance. Sometimes I plan a month in advance, especially for unit studies, but at least a week in advance is what you would want to plan so that you can have everything ready to go and knowing what you need to purchase. So I have a blank planner. Hold on, let me grab the planner. I forgot to grab this calendar, this planner before the video, so talking about preparation, I did not prepare. Oh, this is what happens when I try to I was just like on the whim, I'm gonna create these videos and I didn't plan enough ahead of time. Don't do that. But anyways, back on track. I got this from Big Lots last year before school started, and it's an adorable planner, and it is an open dated planner, if you're wondering what it's called, and it was $10 at Big Lots. So the blank pages look like this. I don't know if you can see it with how bright everything is. Hopefully you can see, but I cross out the day of the week because I use every square. We don't homeschool every single day, so it'd be pointless. I'd have blocks not used. So I just don't even worry about the day of the week on it. And I just write the date that we're using it. So for example, over here, I hope you can see these. You can't see these, can you? You can't see it that well. I'm so sorry. It's too bright. But I would plan out the things that we need to master on those days. So it's kind of like a to-do task list. And that kind of helps me. So I even write down like an order. So like it goes circle time, and then it says day of the week, the date, the weather. So I know like those important points to hit. And then it will go into the next part of the day, which is reading 2 books. And I can just cross these off as I finish them. And then the bottom, after circle time type activities, the whole bottom is the curriculum they will be covering. And then I just kind of go down the list and finish it. I don't always go in order of what I write down. Sometimes I have to go with the flow of what I can see my child's attention span is doing. Also, a week in advance, you should be planning your sensory activities or your block activities if you're planning to use those. So our sensory currently is rice with like metal pots and pans that are like kid size, so they can hear the sounds and play in the textures. And then we have moon sand, which is my favorite sand. I think it's a very therapeutic sensory sand. So they're using that on the other side. We have a sensory table with 2 bins. And they'll use that. And then blocks, like today's activity was, I wanted them to build the tallest towers they could while I read them the chapter book. So a lot of times I'll use sensory play when I'm doing something long-winded on my end, and I don't necessarily need them to pay attention all the way. So I'll read chapter books. Right now we're doing the Percy Jackson series, and they will be in the sensory bins and getting their hands involved and kind of listening to what I'm saying while they keep themselves busy, because no child is happily sitting through a chapter book. You know, it's just, it requires too much of them. So that's what I do for the weekly basis in general. That gives you time to be able to buy supplies or come up with the ideas ahead of time. And you can reuse those things. So sensory play and blocks don't have to be a brand new thing every single day. You can continue with the same theme for a week or however you want to do it. So monthly planning, if I'm a month and ahead, I'm going to look at what unit studies we're going to do or common themes that we're going to discuss during that time frame. And so because I'm planning a month ahead, I have time to look at what books I need to go along with that lesson plan. Sometimes the unit studies require you to get 2 or 3 books to go with it over the month time span of the unit study. And also, if you're not wanting to buy them, because sometimes the books are quite expensive, sometimes they're like $17 books, which I feel like is expensive. I'm a cheapo. But if you're wanting to rent it from the library, you have to keep in mind that sometimes books have a wait list because they're so popular in demand. And so you want to make sure that you're getting on those wait lists in time. So that's why I say prepare that a month ahead, because you don't want to be stuck with a situation where you don't have the book and now you're kind of leaving out that portion of the learning. So if you're wanting to keep books involved in your schooling, make sure that you're planning ahead, buying them offline quick enough, searching thrift stores for them quick enough, or Facebook Marketplace quick enough, or like I said, getting on the library wait list if it has a long wait time because it's high in demand. Also, this is important for looking ahead for supplies you will need. A lot of times when you do unit studies or things like that, it'll tell you in advance what kind of supplies you need. I don't always have them on hand. Like, I don't know why we don't have buttons, but there was a lesson plan where we needed buttons of various sizes, shapes, and colors, and I had to get on Amazon and buy those ahead of time. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, I couldn't go the cheap route and get into the thrift stores, but that's what we had to do. But I had to plan it ahead of time because shipping was not prime shipping, and it took a little longer. Or did I buy it on eBay? I think I bought it on eBay. The price was better on eBay, but the shipping time took longer. And another reason this is important is it lets you plan ahead if you plan to do activities or curriculum based around holidays. So for example, Christmas, a lot of homeschoolers are going to be doing Christmas curriculum. And if you don't look ahead soon enough, then you're kind of going to be stuck doing it on your own. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you're wanting to go ahead and say like use Gather Round's Christmas homeschool curriculum, which is what we're probably going to use this year, I need to make sure that I'm buying it in advance. I'm looking to see what supplies I might need, which I don't know if she needs supplies with hers. I haven't looked in depth yet because December's not here. And also you need to know how far in advance to start the curriculum. So like Gather Round's Christmas homeschool curriculum is I think 4 weeks. So you have to prepare maybe 5 weeks ahead, so you have 1 week to get it together, or you might want to go even further back if you really want to be prepared. So keep that in mind. These are all reasons that you would want to plan a month ahead with these more general subjects. Lastly, you want to prepare a year ahead for the most broad subjects, okay? So what you'll do is you'll look at what your child has mastered the previous year, and that's how you start to decide what they're going to master this coming year. So like Vivi has learned she knows her basic alphabet. She knows 4-letter words. She knows short vowels, right? This coming year, the focus will be, let's learn the long vowels. Let's learn 5-letter words and up. Let's learn a little more about the sentence structure. You know, those are the kind of things that we're going to do. So you want to look at the general idea of what you need to plan ahead. So you know, once you know generally what your child needs to learn, or you plan to have them learn, then you can begin to build curriculum around that. So you need to look at like, what subjects are you wanting to teach? Your state will have guidelines for what you must teach, and then it's up to you what you do beyond that. So, okay, the state says that I need to do math, reading, writing, and science and state history, right? So those are covered. What do you want to teach your child beyond that? Are you doing an art class with your child? Are they learning an instrument? Are they doing some sort of physical fitness type education? Are you wanting to teach them a language? Are you wanting them to learn poetry? You know, there's so many electives out there that you need to think about. And I'm all for electives. I don't just do the basics that the state wants me to cover. So keep that in mind, that you would want to think ahead about what those subjects are you're wanting to teach, what the milestones that they're going to comprehend in that subject will be, and then build your curriculum around that. You don't have to plan exact lessons at this time. Like, that's more on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. You will overwhelm yourself trying to prepare that far in advance where you have like a whole year's worth of lessons. You don't need to do that. You just want to do the general idea of what you're going to teach, and then you want to figure out the curriculum that works for you. So that does take research at times if you're not sure what you want to use for curriculum. So that's why you need to plan that in advance. Like, you should be planning right now for this coming school year. You should have already been planning, to be honest, but you need to at least start right now. So start looking at what homeschooling style you're going to do, which maybe I can make a video on in the future if you're interested in that. And then you need to figure out the curriculum to go with that, or you need to start building your own curriculum if you're building your own. So that's what I start planning a year in advance. Okay, so this long-winded video was just a lot of my thoughts on preparation, and I'm hoping I can get it under 20 minutes. But I hope it helped you. Learn from my chaos, learn from my mistakes, and skip ahead and advance yourself so you don't have to deal with all the things I've dealt with. So make sure that you're preparing in those sorts of ways. And if you have any other ideas for preparation, leave it in the comments below. Help everybody out. We can read through the comments and see what you guys are doing for preparation. All right, so that is the end of this video after 24 minutes. But I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button so I know this is the type of content that you guys enjoy. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.